Hello and welcome to IPcast, a podcast on IP-related matters by Starks, a niche law firm specializing in intellectual property law and international trade law. My name is Maria Baitsova-Wienans, and I'll be your host today. In this episode, let's discuss licensing, trademark licensing. Oh gosh, it sounds almost like Bond, James Bond. Actually, speaking about Bond, it is, by the way, also a trademark, and it is also licensed. If you go on a website 007.com, in the Article 4 of the Terms and Conditions, you'll be able to read the following. E.ON or its affiliates or licensees own all rights in the trademarks on the website, such as 007 and James Bond. You have no rights in such trademarks. Use of any of E.ON's or its affiliates or licensees' trademarks without the written permission of E.ON is strictly prohibited. So, what was I talking about? Right, trademark licensing. Generally speaking, trademark licensing is a way for the trademark owner to further commercialize his intellectual property asset by allowing someone else to use his trademark under the terms defined by the trademark license agreement. From franchising to co-branding, one can license his trademark in many different ways. Common to all of them is that quality control must remain in the hands of the trademark owner. This is consistent with the very purpose of a trademark, which is to act as an indication of the origin of goods or services. However, you might wonder, how come? Since in case of trademark licensing, the goods or services will originate from the licensee, not from the trademark owner. Well, consumers should be able to expect that trademarked goods or services have essentially the same consistent quality. It is about that, and this quality control must remain in the hands of the trademark owner. Otherwise, there are a lot of risks to the trademark. In fact, one could say that quality control by the trademark owner is fundamental in trademark licensing. Now, let's talk about how. There are many possible ways how one could license one's trademarks. They could be broadly categorized as follows. To begin with, franchising. This is essentially a special form of license agreement that gives a person or a group of people, so the franchisee, the rights to market a product or service using the trademark of another company. Aside from the trademark license, the particular business model, technical support, training, and mentoring are also part of the franchising deal. The classic examples for companies doing licensing in that way is McDonald's or Subway or Tony & Guy hairdresser salon. The second category is co-branding. It might be strategically interesting to brands who seek to break into a new market or refresh their appeal to existing customers. In co-branding, trademarks will be cross-licensed, which calls for a double as diligent preparation to avoid potential pitfalls, both from legal as from marketing standpoint. There are quite a lot of examples of successful co-branding, such as, for example, BMW and Louis Vuitton, where Louis Vuitton designed an exclusive 4-piece set of bags perfectly fitting in the rare parcel shelf of the new BMW i8. They're so nice. Another one is MasterCard and Apple Pay, with MasterCard being the first credit card company to allow customers to store their debit or credit cards on Apple Pay. The third category of license agreements is brand extension. In brand extension, the trademark owner also frequently teams up with another company, to which the trademark is then licensed, most of the time without the cross-licensing though. However, this time, products or services are different from the brand's usual gamma. From a marketing perspective, successful brand extensions leverage the brand associations and secure a foothold into a new product or service category. Callaway, for example, successfully extended from golf clubs into clothing and footwear, while Ferrari from luxury cars to theme parks. While sometimes lucrative, in the case of brand extension, there is a high risk to dilute or overstretch the core brand. In this sense, the company willing to go into a different product or service category has to carefully evaluate what would be the better fit with their strategic goals and with the brand profile as such, including the two factors. First is the actual scope of protection of the trademark from a legal perspective, and two, the brand extendability, which is the strengths of consumers' associations with the brand values and goals. This is from a marketing perspective. Moving on. Undoubtedly known to everyone who has ever been to a cinema, a theme park, or a museum, another way of trademark licensing is merchandising. The broad term merchandising usually refers to licensing of trademarks, artworks, characters, or designs to be used on ordinary consumer goods. This adds additional appeal to an otherwise mundane mug or a t-shirt and generates additional revenue stream and visibility to the IP owner. While this way of trademark licensing might somewhat resemble the previously mentioned brand extension, there are nonetheless significant differences. Thus, in the case of a brand extension, while the trademark owner seeks to enter a new product or service category, the choice thereof is usually determined by the natural fit with the trademark owner's customer base. In contrast, in merchandising, the product category is by definition ordinary consumer goods. There could, of course, be an overlap in practice, yet these remain two separate ways of trademark licensing. Finally, worth mentioning is the sort of trademark licensing where a trademark acts as a quality stamp. This category can be further split in two different ways. The first way is standards. In this way, the trademark owner licenses the use of his trademark to companies whose products or services satisfy the defined quality standard or other requirements. The second way of quality stamp licensing is component or ingredient branding. Probably the most known example thereof is Intel Inside stickers you probably have seen many times in your PCs. When the component has an established reputation of its own, its trademark use could add significant value to the licensee's product, which includes this component. So, this is in a nutshell about the different types or categories of trademark licensing. Now, let me sum up the answer to my favorite question. Why? What would be the reason to consider trademark licensing? Well, irrespective of the particular way trademark licensing is structured, the main reasons for considering it are: first, the possibility of increasing brand recognition; second, reaching new geographical or product or service markets; and of course, third, generating an additional revenue stream. Moreover, frequently trademark licensing is also a perfect way to form new strategic partnerships, which is then the fourth reason. And finally, the fifth, it might even allow the trademark owner to get the best out of a trademark infringement. For instance, recently, one of the trademark infringement cases we had ended in settlement that included exactly that, a trademark licensing arrangement. To conclude, while trademark licensing might seem straightforward, because essentially what happens is the licensor allows the use of his trademark while the licensee pays for it, yet it's not that simple in the end. There are in fact many things to consider. At a minimum, the trademark license agreement must align with the trademark law of the particular jurisdiction and with the company's strategic goals. Yes, I will always come back to strategy because it does come first. The good news is that if the trademark licensing process is handled correctly and the eventual trademark license agreement is well thought through, this would render beneficial results for everyone involved. Thanks a lot for listening. If you reached this point, you have probably liked it, so don't be shy to show off some social love through your likes, shares, and subscribes. And as always, for any questions, suggestions, concerns, as well as, of course, for service requests, just drop us an email at info@starks.be. Starks, your sustainable growth supporter.